A long-range effort on the half volley from Tonali is into the 20th row of the Kop. Anfield feels aggrieved. Boos ring out for the referee, I believe, Simon Hooper. It's back with Canate. Now across the centre circle for Virgil van Dijk. Forward here to Kerkez. Trying to hold it for Elanga. Kerkez against Elanga. Trippier. Ramsey. Confident from Newcastle. Burn. Hall. Salah buzzing around him. Hall extricates himself just about, and the lunging challenge was a successful one. He'll bounce out of play on the far side. Canate on the end of it. He's off the ground, Lewis Hall. But it's a fair challenge, and he doesn't even make contact with Wirtz either. Van Dijk. Kerkez. Van Dijk between the lines now is Florian Wirtz. Ekitike laid off Wirtz. Gravenberch. Szoboszlai. Salah. Picked up by Hall. Comes it out of play on the far side. And by Szoboszlai. Canate. Van Dijk. Canate. Taking time here, Liverpool. Need to step up though. Here's Gravenberch between the lines, slips it through to Ekitike. Tried to lift it past Pope, got a paw on the ball. And it's flashed away by Kieran Trippier. Will bounce down the byline towards the corner flag. And will eventually trundle out of play for a Liverpool corner. It's a good save from Pope. Beat the offside trap to Ekitike. Liverpool's first corner in the 32nd minute. Van Dijk wandering into the penalty area. It's Salah. It's a high ball swung towards the far post area and claimed by Pope, who will push that out to the right-hand side for Trippier. Now Elanga. Into the centre circle, Tonali. Not the best pass. Straight to Gravenberch. Now Kerkez. Ekitike. Gravenberch. Back to Virgil van Dijk. Gravenberch. Held up by Florian Wirtz. Gakpo. Gravenberch. Switched out to Salah. Lovely ball, lovely touch. The left-footed cross, though, gobbled up by Nick Pope. It was close to Ekitike. Good goalkeeper giving no bite. Nick Pope read the fly of the ball and held on to it. Look a bit better now, Liverpool. McAllister. Wirtz, Gravenberch. Salah. Gravenberch, edge of the box. Shifted onto his right. So too much of it to Chow. We'll try and slide it in behind for Anthony Gordon. The pass was just a bit under hit. Canate showed decent turn of pace to get back and tidy things up for Liverpool. Szoboszlai. Van Dijk. To Gravenberch. Van Dijk. Left-hand side is Gakpo. Drives at Trippier. Inside to McAllister. Tries to return it to Gakpo. Burn. Gakpo went over. He looked at the referee. He's injured himself in the fall. Gravenberch from a long way out. That's off Burn. Now Elanga on the near side. Holds off Wirtz. Back to Burn. Now Ramsey. Down this left-hand side. Infield, Barnes. Back to goal, edge of the box. Through to Gordon! Drills it past Alisson into the far bottom corner. Anthony Gordon, the pantomime villain of the piece. The former Evertonian gives Newcastle the lead. A terrific move from Eddie Howe's side. Finished off by a man from the blue half of town. Kirkes couldn't get in the way. Took it on early, Anthony Gordon. It's through the legs of Kirkes in the end. Well placed. Out of reach of Alisson. That's 10 goals for Anthony Gordon. A big moment for him and a big moment for Newcastle. Well, they've got a lead now, Newcastle, and you can't really argue that they don't deserve it. Past few minutes have belonged to Liverpool, but prior to that, it's Newcastle that have posed all the threat. Wirtz, McAllister, Gravenberch, Ekitike tries to return it to Gravenberch. That was neat from Liverpool. It was decent from Thiago as well, sliding in to turn it behind for a corner. Almost an immediate response from Liverpool. Just one and two touch passing. Sliced through Newcastle. Salah will take the corner. Konate, Van Dijk up from the back, in towards the near post where it's scooped away by Dan Murn. Back in on the volley by Salah, flicked on by Konate. Ekitike tried to get there in front of Kieran Trippier. It goes down under Trippier's challenge. Simon Hooper wasn't interested. Here's Willock. And now Burn for Tonali. Between the lines is Gordon. Trippier on the right. Gordon, clever run in behind McAllister, who's tracked him into the box. Gordon flashed towards the near post, pushed away by Alisson. Gakpo. Toe to it by Trippier. Will he find Elanga? Well, can't get on the end of it, Anthony Elanga. Kirkes' clearance is against Elanga. Gakpo now. Driving away for Liverpool. Out to Salah on the right-hand side. Into the penalty area where it's nodded away by Dan Burn on the corner of the 6-yard box. Now here's McAllister, 30 yards from goal. Shifts it onto his right foot. Tries to clip that into the box to Salah, who made a run off the right edge of the penalty area. Ekitike picking up another loose ball. A second ball outside the box and tries to force his way through. Forced wide though. Now Dominic Szoboszlai. Salah in behind, saved by Pope and his near post. Well, again, the offside flag was up against Mo Salah. Well, I think he's level. So probably would have stood on review. We're just in a little look at the Newcastle, the Liverpool, I should say, appeal for a penalty of the challenge on Trippier. That's contact with Ekitike, but enough to have convinced Simon Hooper or Craig Pawson, the VAR, to have another look. Wirtz, well, he'll find Ekitike driving. Gakpo, Salah, Wirtz pokes it through. Wirtz weaves his way through, pokes it to the back of the net by Hugo Ekitike. Bursts through Pope. The lead lasted all of 3 minutes. Brilliant from Florian Wirtz. Wonderful football, though, from Liverpool. Ekitike drove them forward. It was worked across the face of the penalty area to Salah. A little bit untidy initially, but there was nothing untidy about the way Florian Wirtz wiggles through 3 or 4 black shirts and then just pokes it inside. There is Hugo Ekitike, who has to react quickly and prods it beyond Pope. Newcastle trying to conjure up an immediate response. Willock is almost all the way through. Across came Van Dijk. And that's behind for a corner again. They were all over the place, Liverpool, straight from the kickoff, really. Willock, almost through sheer force of will, drove past Szoboszlai. It's a great challenge from Van Dijk. Szoboszlai's just done just about enough as he makes his way past him, just to knock him off balance. And as a result, the touch is slightly too heavy from Joe Willock as he makes his way into the penalty area. In by Tonali, right on top of the goalkeeper at the near post. It was intended for Burn, punched away by Alisson. Rare heavy touch from Salah. Straight to Hall, Tonali, back into that mixer. Dan Burn, had 2 hanging on to him. And he was just weighed down, so that's out of play for another goal kick, which is taken swiftly by Alisson. Milos Kerkez. Early ball forward, Ekitike, the flag has stayed down. They've only got 2 back here, Newcastle. Ekitike towards the near post! Oh, Ekitike! Into the bottom corner, across the face of goal. 2 in quick succession for Hugo Ekitike. They've turned it around in 2 minutes. All came from a goal kick. Newcastle had players, so many players still forward. It was an early pass from Kerkez to Ekitike. Assesses his options, decides he can't feed Salah, so he'll just drive past Chow on his own. Brilliant finish. Uses the outside of his right boot, almost toe pokes it. It's fading away from Nick Pope. It's brilliant. A brilliant finish from Ekitike. It's Liverpool 2, Newcastle 1. In the blink of an eye, Newcastle's lead has not just evaporated, it's been reversed. That's goal number 15 for Hugo Ekitike. They paid a pretty penny for him. Nowhere near as much as Alexander Isak. All the eyes, all the headlines were on the former Newcastle striker. Well, here's Ekitike again. Confidence coursing through his veins. Wirtz tried the reverse pass. He probably should have taken it on himself. Not sure he was expecting the return ball. Hugo Ekitike. Hasn't been a hat-trick in Liverpool versus Newcastle since Michael Owen back in 2001. Pope. Underneath it, Van Dijk. That's flicked on by Salah. Towering clearance from Byrne. Bouncing away from Konate. Elanga won't get on the end of it. In fact, Konate will. And it's turned inside to Alisson. 5 minutes of added time. Byrne. The header is out to Barnes, who is dispossessed, and here comes Szoboszlai. And now Salah on the right-hand side. Back to Szoboszlai. Clips it into the box towards McAllister, behind by Chow. Arne Slot pacing, almost measuring the size of his technical area. Newcastle want half-time. Liverpool want a third. Another corner kick for Salah to take. Van Dijk, Konate, amongst others in the 18-yard box. Konate in a shoving match behind Nick Pope. Salah, left-footed ball towards Ekitike. Unchallenged header. Just misjudged it. Hugo Ekitike. Malik Thiaw just lets him go. Goal kick for Nick Pope. They look a little bit stunned here, Newcastle, like, what's just happened to them? Liverpool haven't been very good, apparently. That's what the reports have said. Well, they have had their moments. What a few moments it's been. Sometimes that's all you need. No way to go yet. Still time to add a third before the break. Here's Milos Kerkez. Ramsey came across. That will be a foul. Almost a body check from Ramsey. Just a bit late there, Ramsey. The ball had already gone. There's a yellow card for the Newcastle United man. Set piece for Liverpool. And this left-hand side, Kerkez, it's still down. The physio team have wandered down the touchline. Kerkez is close enough towards the touchline, they don't need to come on. Just checking on Milos Kerkez. Szoboszlai is going to take the set piece here. Ekitike on his own towards the far edge of the penalty area. Szoboszlai's ball to the middle of the box and flicks over the top by Alexis McAllister. Great ball from Dominic Szoboszlai. Newcastle running back towards their own goal. That's always an awkward one as it's following you, that trajectory, swinging in towards you as a defender. Pope takes his time with this goal kick. They need to get to half-time. They've shown more than enough in this first half, Newcastle, though, to build on to find a route back into this game. It's Tonali. No Kerkez. Hoisted out towards the far side. It's intended for Salah. And Lewis Hall will see that one out. It's going to be a tough team talk for Eddie Howe, really, because his side have been pretty good by all accounts. I'll play for a Liverpool throw this time. It's in by Szoboszlai. Konate. Van Dijk. Kerkez. Alisson. Gakpo gets there before Trippier. Now Ekitike. Laid off to McAllister. To Konate in the centre circle. Looking for Mohamed Salah. It's away by Hall. And that's the half-time whistle. Arne Slot heads off down the tunnel. Newcastle United started the brighter of the two sides, and it was Anthony Gordon with a fine finish drilled into the bottom corner. They gave Newcastle United a lead they deserved, but that almost shook Liverpool back into the game, woke them up, and Hugo Ekitike, with 2 goals in 2 minutes, turned things around in the blink of an eye. Newcastle United left stunned and having to hold on a little bit towards the end of that first half. But it's a pulsating game where the tackles are thundering in, the opportunities are opening up at both ends. A big 45 minutes to come after the break. But at half-time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 2, Newcastle United 1. Welcome back. A whirlwind 45 minutes at Anfield. Saw the game turned on its head after Anthony Gordon's opener after 37 minutes. Newcastle United a better team for the majority of the first half, but in the end it was the last few moments of that game, that first 45 minutes, that really counted. Hugo Ekitike's double turning the game on its head. Liverpool lead by 2-1. They're back underway on Merseyside, and Eddie Howe's team talk probably would have been more of the same, lads. They were undone by two very good pieces of quality from Liverpool's star turn tonight, Hugo Ekitike. And it's Newcastle United with early possession. Now to Lewis Hall, forward for Harvey Barnes. Willock on the left-hand side, shifted onto his right boot. Infield to Tonali. Shifted across towards the right flank. Trippier. Down the line for Elanga. I felt he was shoved by Kerkez. Assistant referee flagged for a throw-in. Well, no changes at half-time for either side. So the same personnel that started the game for Liverpool. That's Alisson in goal. Back four of Szoboszlai at the on the right-hand side of defence. Kerkez on the left. Konate and Van Dijk, the two centre-halves. Gravenberch and McAllister, the double pivot in midfield. Salah on the right. Gakpo on the left. Florian Wirtz with Hugo Ekitike leading the line. The start of St James's Park last time out included amongst the substitutes Rio Ngamoa. Away by Alisson, and out of play on the far side for a Newcastle throw-in. They've done pretty well so far without Bruno Guimaraes. Returned to the bench on Wednesday. He missed the 2-0 defeat to Villa at the weekend. But looks set to be a 10th win without Bruno Guimaraes. Tonali standing over the free kick. As it stands, that pushes Liverpool above Manchester United into 5th place. Still not good enough. High standards, but some way off the pace at the moment for that top three. Notched forward by Tonali. They'll get it back from Konate's clearance, and now here's Willock. Tries to drift between the lines. It's for Barnes, try to poke it back through to Willock. It's off Gravenberch. Some cries of handball, mainly from the away supporters, and Trippier can't do much more than give it to Ekitike now. Gakpo, Salah, right corner of the box, pull back. Szoboszlai driven towards goal, deflection on the way through. Think it got the heels of Malik Chow. Held on to by Nick Pope. First opportunity of the second half for Liverpool. That's what they miss sometimes with Dominic Szoboszlai filling in at right back. An unfortunate injury to Jeremy Frimpong. That's what he brings as well in lots of ways, Szoboszlai. His versatility is both one of his biggest strengths and probably a curse. Salah straight to Hall. Now Gordon will get there in front of Konate. It's a tidy tackle from the French international. Now Salah on the right-hand side, fed by Szoboszlai. Gordon. That's off Salah last. Throwing for Lewis Hall. It's under the nose of Arne Slot. Now battling for possession on halfway with Joe Willett. An arm outstretched to try and hold off Alexis McAllister. Newcastle's 11 with Pope between the sticks. Hall, Byrne, Chow and Trippier across the back four. Gordon. Tries to slip it into the penalty area, drops to Willock now. Off Gravenberch and then wins it again. Ryan Gravenberch against Joe Willock. Down the right for Szoboszlai. Byrne, he's lost it. Ekitike drags his shot so wide. The Koppen rose onto their toes, expecting Hugo Ekitike to seal his hat-trick. It was an awkward ball for Dan Byrne to cope with. It was bouncing away from him, and despite the telescopic nature of his legs, he couldn't quite get to grips with that one. Ekitike could. He snatched at the chance. Byrne. And a bounce away from Barnes. With Allison. Barnes eventually forces him to pick it up. Willock, Tonali, Ramsey, the three across the middle for Newcastle. Barnes on the left, Elanga on the right, Gordon playing as the striker this evening. He's Chow. To Willock. Another one over the top for Gordon to chase in a foot race with Van Dijk, shoulder to shoulder with the Liverpool captain. And it's off of him last for a Newcastle United corner. Right in front of the Newcastle supporters. They enjoyed that little mini battle between Gordon and Van Dijk. Trippier is standing over the ball. It's sent in deep towards the back post. Byrne there at the far post, and it's kept in play. Gravenberch was on top of it. Back into the mix from the right-hand side. Not a bad cross. Will drop to Trippier. Hangs on back towards the far post. Now Elanga in towards Chow at the near post. Allison did really well. Brave to push it away, and now scooped clear by Florian Wirtz to flick it away. Collected by Tonali. Close towards the halfway line inside to Trippier. Slings a diagonal up towards Dan Byrne. In a tangle with Konate, who holds him up as that sails out of play for a Liverpool goal kick, but positive signs already for Newcastle United. There were plenty of positive signs in the first half as well. Szoboszlai. Salah sliding in came Dan Byrne. Simon Hooper gave himself a moment to think about it before blowing the whistle. Szoboszlai waits for the ball, which was being carried away, much to Simon Hooper's annoyance. Szoboszlai. Switch of play out to Kerkez on the far side. Looked on by Ramsey. Forward by Van Dijk. It's back to Pope. Now with Byrne. Byrne to Barnes. Trying to find Hall. One back by Salah for Liverpool. Have a turn by Gravenberch to get away from Willock. Can't find Ekitike. McAllister snaffles it near midfield. Szoboszlai. Gravenberch. Kerkez down the line for Gakpo. Shifted onto his right, edge of the box. Gakpo tried to squeeze one in towards the near post. It's wide for a goal kick. 10 minutes gone. Still no change to the scoreline, but no change to the tempo either. Both sides going full throttle. Hope should give them all a moment to take their breath, get their breaths back. Pope. Punts one up towards Anthony Gordon. Helped under the flight of it by Konate. Gordon in the way. With Gravenberch's clearance. Nice work from Gordon. Here's Harvey Barnes. Elanga driven towards the near post. And the offside flag is up again. And it's Anthony Elanga. It's a clever ball from Anthony Gordon, but yes, it is Elanga. Just strays. It's great passing. On the edge of the Liverpool box from Newcastle. Ekitike finds Gakpo. Holds off Chow. That's a free kick. Tug of the shirt from Malik Thiaw. Cody Gakpo did really well to hold off the young defender. He's just shown a yellow card to Newcastle's bench there, Simon Hooper. So either Eddie Howe or Jason Tindall has been shown a yellow card. And here's Jason Tindall. So looking for the coach. Liverpool have a free kick. This is in Dominic Szoboszlai territory. He's a long way out, but he certainly looks up for it here, Dominic Szoboszlai. Salah runs away from it. Will be Szoboszlai. Plenty between the Hungarian and goal. Lines one up, Szoboszlai. And Nick Pope able to hang on to the header back across the face by Virgil van Dijk. Gravenberch thought he'd won the throw-in. Anthony Gordon with the sliding challenge. Newcastle get the decision from the assistant referee. A shove on Ramsey from Ekitike. He will be pulled up on it. I think Simon Hooper was trying to let Newcastle try and play on. Tonali. Chow. Pope. And now Dan Burn. To his right for Chow. Up towards the halfway line. Ramsey on the half turn. Gets away from McAllister. Lunged in. It's going to be pulled back for the foul by McAllister. He's got a yellow card for that. Tonali wanted to play on with the advantage. I think it's the nature of challenge. Simon Hooper had to pull it up immediately. That was poor from Alexis McAllister. Newcastle with a set piece. And it's Kieran Trippier, the captain. They've dealt with their set pieces pretty well so far, Liverpool. Chow and Willock on the edge of the box alongside Burn. It is towards Chow. Drops to Barnes, drives towards goal. Good save from Alisson. Down low to his left, through a crowd. Would have seen it late, Alisson. Great strike from Barnes. Just drills it low. A flag up on Chow initially, who challenged with Virgil van Dijk. The little touch dropped nicely for Harvey Barnes, who snapped a shot towards goal. Came through a forest of legs there in front of Alisson. Free kick flung forward. So Gakpo outnumbered Here Liverpool, Ramsey. Gordon let it run. It was read well by Gravenberch. Now here's Kerkez. In towards Gakpo. Chow had to get that right, and he did. Here's Ramsey. Hall. Barnes. Hall continuing his run. And he's come forward, Szoboszlai with him, in towards the near post. Just a little shove from Dominik Szoboszlai. And Hall will try and point that out to Simon Hooper. Wirtz. Salah. Back to Wirtz. Clever pass, keeps it in play inside the penalty area. Hall. Gets it back, Tonali. Allows Hall to clear it. Konate takes it down on his chest on halfway, and then a little drop of the shoulder to drift away from Gordon. Gravenberch. Szoboszlai. Van Dijk. Szoboszlai. Other side of the centre circle. Szoboszlai starts to walk forward. Finds Gravenberch. A little acceleration for Liverpool. A little bit more from Gakpo. Good defending by Trippier. Elanga can't get there. Gravenberch. Here's Ekitike. Now McAllister. Szoboszlai. Right edge of the box now is Salah. Hall. Got a toe to it. Byrne prods it away. Willock. Dispossessed by Dominik Szoboszlai. Back to Alisson. And now with Van Dijk. Through the centre circle. McAllister. Szoboszlai. Across to Virgil van Dijk. Slowing the tempo slightly here, Liverpool. Newcastle well organised on the edge of their 18-yard box at the moment. Konate. Van Dijk. Kerkez. Gakpo. Ekitike. Kerkez. Elanga. As well defensively there. Byrne. Ramsey. And now Elanga. Soft Kerkez for the throat. 63 gone. Still Liverpool 2, Newcastle 1. Substitutions in the back of the minds with Arne Slot and Eddie Howe. Pope. That's Barnes underneath it. Konate first to it. Now Hall. Good strength from Konate. McAllister. Ekitike. That's a loose layoff. And here's Kerkez on the corner of his own box. Alisson. McAllister. Here's Gakpo. Szoboszlai wants it, edge of the box. Gakpo into the penalty area, clips it back. Hall was stooping and knocks it away. Gakpo picks it up near the corner flag. Trippier now in his route. Gakpo. McAllister. Gravenberch. Winds one up. It's sailing away into the Kop. .26 minutes remaining. Nick Pope. He's spotting up the goal kick. Mason Tyndall, a word for Eddie Howe as we approach that point where he'll start to think about who comes on think Nick Voltemada might get a go. Johan Visa as well on the bench. Barnes helps out Tonali. Too strong for Florian Wirtz. Down the outside for Gordon. Holds off Konate. That's off Wirtz for a Newcastle United throw down the left-hand side. Chelsea came back from 2 goals down early on this evening. Bowen and Somerville were the openers for West Ham. Pedro Cucurella and then Fernando. There's at the death to turn that around for Chelsea. Wolves beaten 2-0 by Bournemouth at Molineux. Arsenal 4-0 winners at Ellen Road against Leeds United, and spoils shared on the south coast between Brighton and Hove Albion. Birthday boy Beto rescuing a point with a 97th minute equaliser for David Moyes' side. There's Barnes and Willock. Barnes on the left hand side, onto his right. Good ball. Alisson could watch it all the way into his gloves. 4 games tomorrow. Villa host Brentford, Manchester United host Fulham. Palace away against Nottingham Forest, and big game later on in the afternoon. Tottenham Hotspur facing Manchester City to round off the weekend's fixtures. Sunderland against Burnley on Monday night. Here's Gakpo for Liverpool. Florian Wirtz, edge of the box. Salah has a bit of space, holding his way now. Pull back, Wirtz tucks it home. That's a third for Liverpool. That's a bit better now. (3-1) to the hosts. And again, it's just swift movement from Liverpool. And Newcastle just can't keep up with them. It was given away by Thiaw to start it off. Ekitike's little cushion down to Gakpo. Wirtz picked it up, saw Salah on the right-hand side of the penalty area, lays it back to Wirtz, takes it first time. And it's an inch-perfect finish. Off the base of the post, into the bottom corner. Hasn't overhit it. Six goals in 10 games now for Florian Wirtz. Found it difficult to settle at the start of the season, by his own admission. Another cost a pretty penny in the summer, but hadn't quite lived up to his billing. Well, we're now starting to see the player that Liverpool thought they'd bought. That's a clinical finish. He was instrumental as well in the setup. Thiaw. Burn. Gordon down the outside for Barnes. Barnes. Willock on the edge of the box. Gordon tried to run round him to offer the opportunity. Liverpool have picked it off, and now here's Mo Salah driving towards Pope. Salah tried to stab it towards the bottom corner at the near post, hits the side netting. Well, it's open right up for Liverpool now. It was brilliant from Mo Salah. Lewis Hall just tries to get back. Burn. Thiaw. Over the top. Elanga's going to get there first. He's been forced wide out on the right-hand side. Held up by Trippier. Elanga. Liverpool with one upon his back is Gordon. Trippier. Elanga. Gordon was offside. The night that started so well is turning into a bit of a nightmare for Newcastle. go. Mo Salah, a man whose fingerprints are going to be all over the history books, joins a small group of players who have double figures of both goals and assists against a single opponent in the Premier League. That's now 10 assists to go for his 10 goals against Newcastle United. Here's Hall, Barnes. Shifted across the face of the penalty area. Dips into the box, Szoboszlai in the way. Long towards Ekitike, Gakpo and Salah. It's turned back by Trippier. To Pope. Tonali. It's away by Chiao. Straight to Gravenberch. Now McAllister. Szoboszlai. Konate. Virgil van Dijk. Lent it to Kerkez. With the luxury now of playing at a slightly more sedate tempo, Liverpool. There's someone that can inject a bit of pace into its proceedings, though. Salah. Look for Ekitike, one back by Willock. Nothing sedate about the way Liverpool go about trying to win the ball back. Well, 3 changes incoming for Eddie Howe's side. Harvey Barnes will give way to Johan Wissa, the former Brentford forward. Joe Willock gives way to make room for Nick Voltemade. And Anthony Elanga gives way for Jacob Murphy. Three changes in one fell swoop from Eddie Howe. "18 minutes gone at Anfield, and Newcastle chasing the game. There's Lewis Hall, inside to Tonali. Out to Trippier on the right. Ramsey. Voltemade. Murphy. Early ball. Away by Konate. Murphy again. Slashed away by Virgil van Dijk. Ekitike turns that to Trippier, gets it back into play to Tonali. And now back to Chiao. Burn. Carries it into midfield. Szoboszlai in the way. And now here's Ekitike. Florian Wirtz. Gakpo on the left. Pull back to the edge of the box. Wirtz dummied the shot and then just caught Sandro Tonali as he tried to turn away Florian Wirtz. Simon Hooper coming to Newcastle's rescue. Tonali. Trippier. Tonali first time ball. Spun round the corner. Away by Van Dijk. Tonali tries to pick up the pieces. And it's off McAllister. Then Tonali. And a Liverpool throw in again. And they've now scored 130 Premier League goals against Newcastle. Liverpool. Okay. Out in front, that's more than any other side in Premier League history. Spurs 127 in second. Here's Gravenberch. Salah. Gravenberch. Laid off to Szoboszlai. Swung towards the back post. Acrobatic header away by Trippier. Voltemada. Now Wissa. Canate with a fine challenge. Callister in midfield. Slides it to his left to Virgil van Dijk. Forward to Wirtz. McAllister. Between the lines, Gravenberch. Now here's Szoboszlai. Down the outside for Salah. Infield to Szoboszlai. Ekitike. Back heel. Szoboszlai. Right corner of the penalty area. McAllister. Van Dijk. Now Kerkez. Lovely give and go with Wirtz. McAllister is behind Kerkez. Intercepted by Murphy. Given straight back to Van Dijk. Is Gravenberch trying to wriggle his way through. He's done well. Finds Salah. Laid off. Ekitike. Intercepted by Ramsey. Infield to Voltemada. Good challenge by McAllister according to Simon Hooper. Wirtz looks for Salah. Hall. There defensively again. He's not got much out of Lewis Hall tonight, Mo Salah. Trippier. Ramsey. Tonali. Byrne lurking on the left edge of the centre circle. He'll move it on to Hall. And now here's Anthony Gordon. Drop of the shoulder. Edge of the box is Hall. Back to Gordon. Hall on the underlap to the byline. The cut back. Punted away by Ibrahima Konate. Throw in for Newcastle United. Byrne. Chow. Now Voltemada. Trippier. Malik Chow. Fishes the ball forward to Gordon. Pulls the trigger from outside the box. Decent connection. Just couldn't get it on target, Anthony Gordon. Clever little first touch to get the ball to just sit for him. He's dragged it wide. Starting to run out of time now, Newcastle. 12 minutes of the 90 remaining. Throw in taken quickly by Malik Chow into Pope. Now Byrne. Steps away from the edge of the box into midfield for Hall. Laid off top to find Sandro Tonali. Chow. Trippier. With Pope. Byrne. Down the left for Gordon. Szoboszlai will forward to meet him. Gordon. To Voltemada. Neat. Finds Hall. Cross to the edge of the 6-yard box. Konate away. It's been immense in Liverpool tonight. Ibrahima Konate. Hall's throw. Into Gordon. Opportunity from the edge of the box. Tonali. Straight at Szoboszlai. Takes a big spin and behind for the corner. Another corner here, Newcastle. In by Trippier, underneath the crossbar. Good take by Alisson. He's done really well there, actually. That's just swinging into the top corner at the far post. And goalkeepers are very silly sometimes. It's Gravenberg. Canate. It's Kierkes backpedaling towards the edge of his penalty area. Finds Allison now. On towards Ekitike. Byrne with the header. Ramsey. It's Gordon. He's heading back towards his own goal. Way by Pope. Canate underneath the clearance. Here's Tonali. Gordon. Back towards Byrne. Byrne to Thiaw. Trippier. Tonali. Back to Trippier on the right-hand side. Thiaw. Byrne. On the left foot. Lewis Hall. Curtis Jones is ready to come on for Liverpool. Here's Anthony Gordon. Finds a little bit of space. Prodded wide to Wisa. That's off Szoboszlai. Another Newcastle corner. Wisa takes it quickly. Lewis Hall. This is cross away by Ekitike. Just in front of the penalty spot. Now Trippier. Hoists it back up there, aimed towards Dan Byrne. Liverpool have a body down in the penalty area. Simon Hooper, I'm not sure it's going to be a free kick, but Hugo Ekitike holding his head, so he's going to have to stop the game. I think it's a clash of heads there. Caught between Szoboszlai and Van Dijk, it seems. Curtis Jones is the man about to enter the fray. Yeah, he's got splatted. Yeah, between his two colleagues. Just go through the concussion protocols. So a chance for a hat-trick early on in this second half, but not really anything else since Hugo Ekitike. Chiesa is also ready. I think that's going to be his last involvement. Hugo Ekitike, two wonderful finishes to give Liverpool the lead. And as he wanders off on the far side, he's cheering up the crowd. Arne Slot makes the changes. He was linked to Newcastle in the summer. Could have been in black and white tonight rather than Liverpool red. And he goes off to a red salute from around this ground. Federico Chiesa is going to replace Hugo Ekitike, and it's also the end of the night for Mo Salah, who will be replaced by Curtis Jones. Kieran Trippier jogging off for Newcastle too, and Willa Sula coming on. Just a reminder, on his way past the Newcastle supporters for them, of the scoreline. Hugo Ekitike, you can see he just relishes that side of the game. There's Szoboszlai. All the way through to Pope. Thiaw. Down the right-hand side, dug out. Can't find Voltemade. So Sula's delivery. And Gravenberg's clearance found Curtis Jones. There's Gakpo. Back to Kierkes. Jones in midfield again. With Van Dijk. Long towards Chiesa, who says that came off Lewis Hall's hand. Curtis Jones across. Strong challenge on Hall. And Lewis Hall's not happy. And a yellow card to Dan Burn, who pleads Lewis Hall's case. I think that's a reaction to the decision the referee gave. I think Dan Burn pointed to his armband to remind him that he was the captain in Kieran Trippier's absence. He's allowed to come and ask the question. Simon Hooper sure seems to think that probably crossed the line. Now Florian Wirtz has his opportunity to soak up his own ovation. A brilliant finish is the goal that has made things a bit more comfortable for Liverpool late on here. He'll be replaced by Wataru Endo for the last few minutes at Anfield. A refreshing change of pace for Liverpool compared to recent form, and they can start to think maybe about trying to clamber themselves back towards that top four. Curtis Jones looking through to Gakpo. Burn, who made the challenge on the byline, sliding in to try and win it back. Cody Gakpo wasn't happened, sprung back to his feet to almost square up with a bemused looking Dan Burn. I'm not sure there's anything wrong with the challenge. I can maybe understand why Cody Gakpo's a bit frustrated, but ball was already off the pitch anyway. And Craig Pawson just tells Virgil van Dijk that he's... Simon Hooper says that Craig Pawson is watching it back. He tells the Liverpool skipper Virgil van Dijk, but I don't think they're going to do anything about this. Just a little bit of needle schoolboy stuff. Well, Lewis Hall is going to come off. And another change for Newcastle. The 21-year-old Irishman, Alex Murphy, for the last few moments. Stabbed away by Burn. Endo. Jones. Voltamada tries to get a toe on it. Canate. That's cool, calm stuff from the defender. And towards Federico Chiesa. Burn. First to that one. 90th minute at Anfield. Throwing from Kerkez into Van Dijk. Gravenberch. Lovely touch to turn away from Tonali, who fouled him, but here's the advantage for Liverpool. Gravenberch towards the back post underneath it. There's the new man, Murphy. And he ends it behind for a corner. Not sending too many forward in Liverpool, but as we reach the 90-minute mark, Virgil van Dijk wants it. Assessing his options. Dominic Szoboszlai, 5 minutes added on. Drops to Konate, and it's a decent block to guide it over the crossbar. Caught it sweetly, Ibrahima Konate. There's Voltemada in the way. Szoboszlai. Konate underneath it again, this time can't make contact. Endo, back to Szoboszlai. Back heel will find Endo. There's the cross, it is aimed at it at Konate. Byrne gets it clear, chuckled by Van Dijk, tries the volley, drags it wide, sees the funny side, the smile on his face as he, I think he enjoyed that, Virgil van Dijk. Byrne. That's all the way through to Alisson. Alisson long with the clearance. Straight down the middle. Going to bounce through to Cody Gakpo. They're queuing up on the edge of the box for the pullback. Gakpo, second opportunity. Gakpo dancing through. Oh, almost brilliant from Gakpo. It's burning away. Did so well in a really tight area there, Cody Gakpo. Looks like he's going to wander across to take the corner too. It's going to be Dominic Szoboszlai, in fact. Szoboszlai into the 6-yard box, spilt by Pope. Konate! He dribbles over the line. It's just his second goal here at Anfield, Ibrahima Konate. Applause all around Anfield for Ibrahima Konate. Overcome with emotion. An arm round his shoulder from his captain, his defensive partner. His thoughts turning to his father. Who passed away last week. Here he is in a tussle with Voltemada. And once again, strong defending from Ibrahima Konate. It's almost one of those moments that felt like it was scripted. An undeniable moment for Ibrahima Konate. And a moment that reframes football. It's not a centrepiece, not a distraction, but a tapestry that provides our lives with the timeline, the ups and downs, the good moments and the moments of darkness. And I'm sure Ibrahima Konate has felt over the past week or so. Gravenberg. Gakpo. Gravenberg. Gakpo. Voltemada. Tonali. And Osula unable to keep it in play on the far side. That should be that. We're just waiting now for Simon Hooper's whistle. A funny sort of game.
On the move and still looking strong.
Not finding as much safety though when he's dipping down to the side, Kelly. You'd think he might have to start finding different exits because he's throwing up there every time now, Mertesaev again.
Yeah, he's just throwing the left edge from his hips now,
He's waiting for him to drop and he's throwing it up.
Big right hand from Mertesaev. Good shots, heavy. Late on, trying to catch the eye of the judges. The old tricks. Yeah, it was a chop.
Move, try and pick the shots, land the cleaner shots. For Mertesaev, this man here, I still feel not quite kitchen stick, but let your hands go. Work, fight, fire with fire, try and...
A brilliant, precise tactical game plan from Booth and Kelly, and he's executing it as best as he can. Mertesaev strong and sturdy, and still trying to knock out Kelly.
Staying there too long for me there, Josh. I don't know if he necessarily needs to win this round. If he won the last one, I think he's in a comfortable position.
It's too close to think about it.
Definitely.
You've got to try and win it.
Definitely, but if he goes down, I think he's lost it. That's how close I've got this fight.
The crowd singing his name. They're beginning to believe. 1:45 left. Kelly has definitely boxed the best he has ever as a pro. And Mertesaev, maybe not the best he has. Bundled to the floor, Kelly.
No knockdown.
But a knockdown here, guys. Wow.
A minute and a half remaining. What has been a fantastic fight for me. A real clash of two styles.
And he goes to worry about that. Kelly's trying to set things up. A little tricky here, Kelly, and no need to be tricky.
He made him miss those shots by an inch. Josh Kelly, fantastic.
Big shots from Mertesaev. Back goes Kelly. Look at this in the neutral corner. The two of them ripping leather into each other. It's a fabulous finish to what's been an absolutely terrific IBF Super Welterweight title, whichever way it goes.
That wins you a top round.
That's a real bit of me, Barry. That is a real bit of me. Turned him into the corner.
Shot though from Mertesaev.
Them shot left hooks, yeah.
The corner beckoning Mertesaev in. Just over 30 seconds. Will Josh Kelly be crowned the latest Northeast World Champion? Or will that knockdown have held back Mertesaev just about clear onto his title? Kelly believes celebrations start. Murtazaliev's corner look a little bit more despondent. For me, Josh Kelly deserves it. What about you?
Yeah, I feel Josh Kelly's won that. The cleaner shots.
Yeah, I think it's tight, but I think he's done enough.
I think just.
Everyone going for Josh Kelly here. Tony Bellew, I think, nodding in agreement, Addy.
They are all going Josh Kelly on the commentary booth, Tony.
I gave him the last 2 rounds, though. That last round he was really good, moved well, and I think he's got it with them last 2 rounds, Addy. I think it was close, but he's come good in the last 2 rounds, and that's what matters.
Yeah, that's your scorecard there, obviously unofficial scorecard.
Yes.
I asked you before the fight, in terms of what this win would mean for Josh Kelly, does it better Dalton Smith's win against Subriel Matias? I'll ask you again now, before we get the official scorecard, how big a win is this for Josh Kelly?
It's a huge win. It's massive. Murtazaliyev is one of the most avoided fights in the world in all divisions. So it's a brilliant, brilliant win if he gets the nod here. But listen, this was a close fight. This was not one-sided. Really, really close. Not like Dalton Smith's one, no.
Adam, it's a clean sweep from all of us. Let's see what the judges have to say about this one.
Josh Kelly, performance of his career, no doubt about that. How have the 3 judges got it? Will they be liking the skills, the sweet science of Josh Kelly? A knockdown apiece. Murtazaliev was game and strong all night. And what a night it's been here in Newcastle. And it's not over for you boxing fans, because it's one of the biggest matchups in recent times. Live on DAZN in a few hours' time, we're all going to be going back to watch it. Shakur Stevenson, will he become a 4-weight champion, or is Teofimo Lopez going to beat Stevenson for the first time? Josh Kelly had that defeat to David Avanesian. This was a different Kelly. It was a clever performance. He got through it. And Murtazaliev might have lost for the first time.
What a fantastic fight. I mean,
It was a really intriguing fight, wasn't it?
Really intriguing fight where you couldn't take your eyes off of it. For me, it just whizzed by. Didn't probably have the edge of your seat stuff where there was just volumes of shot coming your way. But for me, it really captivated the imagination.
There was that tension, Darren. That tension
yeah.
through the whole fight, start to end, that tension.
Josh Kelly believes his face is still pretty. Murtazaliev has the bruises of war. Interesting. David Diamante has what we all need, the official verdict, and that's what matters.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action,
Smith did it in New York. Josh Kelly does it in front of his beloved Northeast. The area has a new star, and by majority decision it was close, but he thoroughly deserved it. What a performance from PBK.
Incredible what it's done for this man here. He's realised the dream, but what it's done for this region. It's always been a sleeping hotbed for boxing, and now we can see more big nights up there with this man as main event, selling shows around Josh Kelly. World champion finally.
There's the IBF belt. That's what he's dreamt of, and he takes it away from a champion in background, Murtazalia, who had never tasted defeat in 23 fights. He has now Kelly's king.
He had to show a bit of everything tonight. He had to show the stuff we know, the footwork, the movement, the jab, the fast combinations. Also, the things that we wasn't sure he had. The mettle, the toughness, the heart, the desire to go through those hard moments. The power to put a monster down. And then the resolve to get up when you get knocked out. He ticked a lot of boxes tonight to become champion of the world.
And he didn't lose on one card, even by one, the narrowest, and by 4. But I think that's the right winner. Josh Kelly with a career-defining performance. Those who wrote him off said he'd never recover from David Avanesian. Well, I tell you what, it's a lesson to all young fighters.